Hello. I'm here to talk to you about why people really don't want to hear oops or uh-oh in an error message, and what they do want to hear instead. So the examples in my presentation are drawn from real life, but I've made some modifications. Imagine that you're going to a website to order a gift, but you're in such a hurry that you fat finger the URL, and you wind up here. How does that make you feel? Me personally, I'd be annoyed. And I've heard a lot of people say, hey, it's just a 404 page. Have fun with it. But for your customers, a broken link or a bad URL is a blocker. If they can't figure out what to do next, they might just leave. So a good error message is clear and concise and lets them know how to fix the problem that led to the error in the first place. If the message isn't clear or if there's no way out, that leads to drop-off, which is not great for conversion. So let's get to it. What's really wrong with oops? It's conversational, right? Lots of companies use it. But at PayPal, we're dealing with people's money. And when it comes to money, people do not want to hear oops. And words like oops and uh-oh alert people that something's wrong, but it doesn't really make them feel in control. And it can subtly imply that they're the ones at fault. So that's why it's really best to avoid these words and go with a more empathetic approach. And sometimes we create these error messages, they wind up being really short and robotic. That can happen when the error message is an afterthought. We spend a lot of time thinking about a happy path. We don't think so much about when something goes wrong. And it's really important at the start of the project to think through those unhappy scenarios so you can create a message that's more aligned with your brand's voice and tone. Those details make a difference. And again, it is important to be concise, but sometimes all you need to do is add a few words to humanize it, make it sound more conversational. Adding the and you here makes it more like you're talking to a person. And again, invalid email address. Check your email address and try again. It's a much more pleasant experience that way. So really try and think about how to move the conversation forward. In that last example, what about please? Wouldn't please check your email address and try again sound more polite? Well, we really try and keep our error messages friendly and straightforward, and sometimes when you repeat please all the time, it winds up sounding condescending. It's a throwaway word. And what about sorry? When's it appropriate to say you're sorry? I generally reserve that for times when things are going really wrong. If it's a relatively minor error, I leave it out. But sometimes you have to say you're sorry. There's just no way around it. Something's really wrong, and you need to apologize, give the customer a way forward, be human and humble about it. And we're sorry, and letting people know to contact you is a way to do that. Now here, I've changed the wording to oops. See how that completely changes the tone? Oops, there's an issue with your account. That almost trivializes the issue, and it doesn't make the customer feel like you're on their side. All right, quick show of hands. Who here enjoys being told when they've done something wrong? Right, usually not too many people. That's why empathetic error messages don't assign blame. Here, try to avoid something like, you entered an expired card number. Instead, check your card number and try again. It's just a way to alert the customer that something's wrong, but it doesn't assign blame, and it lets them know how to move forward. Now, remember how I said that error messages are often an afterthought? That can happen when they get written by people who aren't as familiar with customer-facing content, like engineers, right? So it's really important to have everyone in your team build some empathy. And you can do that through user research, listening in on customer service calls, writing error messages, a library of error messages, and trying to reuse some of those error messages in multiple scenarios. What we really want to do is put the customer first. Error messages are a fact of life. But if we think about the customer's mindset when these error messages pop up, we can make them better. We can craft them so that the customer can get through and finish their task. So if you keep these 5 points in mind, you'll be able to craft those error messages that let customers get on with it, finish what they were trying to do in the first place. And that is a successful outcome for everyone. Thank you all so much.